What's up, guys? The war continues in my review of Naruto Shippuden episode 300. However, guys, before you watch this video, make sure and check out our video reviews of the Dragon Ball movies. Yes, me and Christian are going to be reviewing every single Dragon Ball Z movie, everything from Dead Zone to Wrath of the Dragon in honor of the release of Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. We have done Dead Zone and World's Strongest will be just around the corner, so make sure and check that out. We'll put an annotation above and in the description box below. So this is a pretty historic episode when you think about it. I mean, it is the 300th episode of the series. In a lot of ways, Chikara was meant to celebrate that fact, but still, that doesn't matter. For me, this was a more proper episode 300. There were a lot of really cool moments, and this was definitely a really good episode for me. And a lot of it had to do with this brand new character that was introduced to us, the Mizukage, the Edo version of him. And he's just a really awesome character. I love how incredibly smug he is. And I love the battle that he's having with these group of random ninja in the first half of the episode. It's very, very funny and comical, and that's kind of weird because this is a really big war that's going on. But what he does is he uses this summoning technique, and he summons this giant clam, which is probably the most non-threatening summon I've seen in the entire series, but it does have another special ability. It's able to summon this mist that's able to create these mirages, and it does this like wide-range genjutsu that just sort of messes with all the ninja in the area. And he's trying to tell them how to fight him. He's always saying, "I'm not the real me. I'm a mirage. Stop attacking me and look for the real clam." And they're trying their best, but they can't seem to do it, and they have these really great comical exchanges where it almost doesn't seem like they're fighting at all. Before we go back to the Mizukage stuff, I just want to mention that Naruto kicked frickin' ass this week. I'm really glad to see that he got a really cool action scene that was incredibly well animated, at least to me anyway. We get to see that Mu is still fighting against Inoki, and he's having a really tough time with him. Inoki's created these rock clones, which are really cool looking, but, you know, he's still kind of an old guy, and Mu's able to be all invisible and shit, so he's hard to detect. And then eventually it gets to a point where Gaara is able to come in and help him out in the battle. And then Naruto suddenly appears like right above Mu, and he's getting ready to attack him with one of his Rasengans, or his planetary Rasengans. And he misses because Mu is a sensory ninja, but then he's able to bounce off of Gaara's sand, and then he comes back up, and he almost looks like he's going to miss again, but, you know, Naruto's always been that ninja who uses really creative ways to attack, and he does so again. And we've seen that he's able to summon these, like, cubey arms from all over his body, and he already had a Rasengan ready, but what he did is he extended it by having another arm come out of his hand, with the Rasengan in that one's hand, and then it hits Mu, and then it sends him flying through these pillars of stone, Dragon Ball Z style. And it's a really well animated looking move. It's really destructive looking. It looks like they're going to go help out with the battle in the Mizukage now, and that's when we cut away back to that. And we can see that those ninja are still having a really tough time with him, and they just can't seem to figure out the secret to his abilities. And they all start to literally just walk off. I don't know what kind of soldiers these are, but they fucking suck. That's when the Mizukage starts to use one of his deadly techniques, which are water balloons, which essentially are these giant water bubbles that arise from the ground, and he starts throwing them all over the place, and Gaara tries to defend against them. While Gaara's defending against the Mizukage, we go up to Inoki, who is actually finding the clam, and he tries to use his particle abilities, but he just doesn't have the strength to do it. So he does this really cool punching move where he has all these rocks come over his fists and everything, and he slams right down on top of it, and it almost doesn't seem like it's going to work at first, but then he puts a little more force in, and he destroys the giant clam. It's really, really cool, and it's awesome, because even the Mizukage is starting to admit that, Inoki's pretty badass. That is until Inoki's back breaks, and it looks like he's pretty much screwed at this point. It's really comical at first, but then it starts to go for a dark turn when all of a sudden the Mizukage is about to use one of the Hozeki abilities, which is like this water pistol, where he literally creates like a pistol in his hand, and water shoots out of it. It's really cool looking, and he actually hits Inoki with it, and he falls to the ground, and that is the end of this week's episode. All in all, this episode had a lot of really cool elements to it. There was action, there were some cool badass Naruto moments, there was a lot of comedy coming from the group of ninja fighting against the Mizukage, and then all of a sudden the Mizukage goes all dark on us and starts shooting Inoki in the back. So this was a really solid episode. So I'm going to drop a 9 out of 10 on this one. I'd give it a higher score, but there were some moments I felt could have maybe been handled a little bit better, maybe animated a little bit better, but still, this is an all-around great action episode of Naruto, and if you guys are following the series, you better check this one out, because it's really good. Alright guys, so how did you feel about the clamminess of the Mizukage this week? You can let me know in your comments below. Remember guys, as always, make sure and hit that like button and give this video a thumbs up. It's one of the best ways to support SuperKamiGuru9000. That and subscribing, of course. That concludes this review today, guys. SuperKamiGuru9000, out.